ready?
Good evening, everyone. This is Michael C. Voice, broadcasting live from Hollywood, California. This is Last Night's Show with Miz Meliz. Tonight's guests are Mike Thorpe, restaurant consultant and podcast host of the 1 in 400 Trillion podcast. The inspirational Zef Zan of Entrepreneurs That Soar. And the audio-visual pro, the smooth factor, Alesia Hendley. And now, with our co-host and producer, Cindy Harrison, and our new associate producer, Anna Rounseville, here is the fantastically fabulous Melissa Reyes.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited. The fantastically fabulous Melissa Reyes is here. Hi, Cindy. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you tonight, Melissa?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm a little freaked out right now by my screen. I'm not happy with how it looks, so I'm going to kind of make a little adjustment here. How's that sound? You talk to us while I'm doing it.
We're going to have an awesome night. You have an awesome lineup tonight, don't you?
I sure do. I'm super psyched. So we've got Mike Thorpe, and you know who he is, don't you?
No.
No, you don't?
Sorry, Mike.
Remember Ashley?
Don't even worry about that.
Do you remember Ashley? Do you remember Ashley Cacciatorian from last week?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I heard from her first because she was on Mike's podcast on Anchor. He was interviewing her. So kind of heard about both of them at the same time. And then it turns out that he's a restaurateur and business consultant for other people who want to start a restaurant. And he's like, this big entrepreneur and has this huge following on social media. And I'm like, who is this guy? Why does he have a podcast on Anchor interviewing this YouTuber? And they're both huge Gary Vee fans. And so I'm like, I want to know more. So they're so nice. And they're all on Twitter, which, I love. And then that brings me to why I've got Alesia Hendley, the smooth factor, on. She's my friend from Video Reply Day. Good stuff. And then, you know my other guest.
I know.
Do you want to? Yeah, you in that? Yeah. Zef
Zan.
Zef Zan.
She is, like I said before, the Energizer Bunny. But oh my God, she is an entrepreneur to the hilt. I just love her. And I remember her from Blab days, and she always had awesome shows, awesome guests, very inspirational, just like you, Melissa.
Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, let's bring on, who should we talk to first?
I don't know, because I love them all. I want to hear from them all. I mean, when Michael, the voice of last night's show, was describing Mike, I'm like, who is this guy? I've got to hear more about that.
Let's find out from Mike, what is the 1 in 4 trillion? What is that all about?
Yeah,
Mike,
what is that?
Mike, come on and tell us about this podcast that you're doing.
All right. So actually, I have 2 podcasts that I'm doing. One is the 1 in 400 trillion.
1 in 400 trillion.
The other one is
or a little, really.
That's right. The other is the Restaurant Report podcast, which is right in my alley. And the 1 in 400 trillion was actually started sort of in a way to test things out, try new things, get my feet wet in interviewing people to move into my restaurant podcast, which was the one that was sort of the bread and butter for what I do on a day in and day out basis.
And that is, you have a restaurant, you have multiple restaurants. How did you get into the restaurant business to start with?
I started as a dishwasher at the age of 15.
Which is what, 4 or 5 years ago or something?
Yeah, no. I'm 33 now.
Oh, long time.
Yeah, but so yeah, I started out dishwashing. I was playing hockey at the same time. Moved from Houston, Texas to Michigan to play hockey. Didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. So then I got into restaurants, serving, bartending, then into management, and just kept going and going. And eventually I realized that the corporate world wasn't for me. So I need to figure out how to expand on my own.
So, that's kind of the American dream. You worked your way up from nothing, and now you're not satisfied with your success. You have to go help other people.
Yeah, that's, about 8 years ago, I saw this need in local restaurants. People who were going out, taking a risk on opening a restaurant when maybe they didn't have all the experience, they didn't have all the knowledge. And, so many were closing. I just saw so many close to me that were closing, people who are, losing everything they've saved for, that they've poured into this restaurant, and having to shut the doors. And I just thought, man, I have understanding of this business. What can I do to help these people? And it took a few years to kind of figure out and get things in line, and what I can do to get out and help people. And if I'm in the corporate world, and if I'm a general manager or a partner in a corporate restaurant, I can't just go help other restaurants, for legal reasons, really. I can't, conflict of interest.
Competitors, right?
That's what I'm gonna
Exactly.
say, conflict of interest. Yeah.
Exactly. So it was sort of one of those, this is what I want to do, but I'm also stuck, so I need to figure out how to make this work.
And how did you do that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was my question.
No.
Exactly.
That's a great question. I actually, I have a 20% partner in my business who is also in real estate, and they do commercial real estate. So it was sort of just fitting together. They had restaurants that were in their portfolio that also needed help. A lot of times real estate agents who are commercial run into people who have a lot of money. They want to start a restaurant. They just don't know how. So that's a perfect opportunity for me to come in and, start at the ground floor, which is a really important time. It's a lot easier to help somebody at the beginning than it is, when they feel like they're 6 months or less away from closing.
Wow, that's really, really cool. So, Alesia, you do something similar to that, but you're in the audio-visual world. Tell us about what you do.
Absolutely. I'm a little bit younger than Mike. I'm about to be 29. So I have been in a space to where I do what I love, but it's actually a day job, and I consult as well. So I'm in the area to where it seems like Mike was at one point in time. You kind of got one foot in and one foot in over here, and you're trying to make it work. That's where I am right now. But what I do is I take technology and I integrate it into spaces, whether it's a restaurant or in a temporary space for an event, and I use it to create better experiences for people. This
is what your job is at your company, or that's your part of your consulting?
That's part of my consulting.
Oh, neat.
Going into restaurants, figuring out how you can use digital signage to create a greater experience for your clients, and have them read your menus or have them find their way to a certain part of the restaurant. Also, but my day job is an audio visual operator. So I'm either directing a football game, running front of house audio for concerts, doing camera work. So I'm in audio and visuals in every aspect of it, but it's all to create an experience for end users, and I love doing that. A lot of people don't know what I do, and I have to explain it a lot because you usually don't see the tech person, right? The tech person's usually dressed in all black, and you just see the big lights and your favorite speaker on stage inspiring you. But what I do is I enable that experience to allow people to inspire each other and have a great time. So I love it.
That's so cool. Tell us some of your biggest events you've done recently, because I've seen you tweet and stuff from some pretty big venues.
Yeah.
So kind of give us a picture of what you're doing.
So my day job is in this building. It's actually owned by a school district, but in Texas we do everything big, right? So it's this building. It has a stadium, a theater, conference center, and arena. And Toby Mac has come in and done 2-3 shows on a daily. I'm doing leadership conferences, and that's all in that venue. Outside of there, I've been to New York, doing a lot of things up at the Google space. I've been to California doing things with software companies. So it's fun. It's fun. I get to go a little bit of everywhere and create these awesome experiences, providing, added knowledge for technology, because a lot of people want to use technology, but a lot of people are still scared of it as well, even though it's a daily thing we all use at the palm of our hands. So, my job is to let people know that this can, help you better engage and create a better experience, and not shy away from it.
Well, that's really cool. What kind of background do you have that you got into that?
So similar to Mike, I thought I was going to go to the WNBA. Nobody was going to tell me anything different. I'm from Connecticut. Go Huskies. But I actually hurt my knee junior year, and I was like, wait a second, what else do I know how to do? And it was audio. So my background is in audio engineering. My father's a pastor, and he taught me how to run the soundboard when we had 5 members. And at that time, I was 12. By the time I was 17, we had a full-on production. We were live streaming. We had a huge choir, going from no praise team to a huge choir. So I learned pretty fast with the house of worship space turning into a full-on production. Mm-hmm. So my background is in audio engineering. And then I stepped into media overall, and I was like, oh, cool, I can do video. And you know what, Dad? You can talk to people in Africa and tell them what to do, and share your light with them. So I stepped into media full on and been at it ever since.
Wow, that's really, really cool. I admire both of you who knew what you wanted to do, this passion, and Cindy's like that too. She's always, known what she wanted to do and has been an artist and art teacher forever. I'm still figuring out what I want to do. Like, Zef, we talked about this, like what you thought you wanted to be a lawyer, and then now you're an entrepreneur and you help other people too. Tell us about what you do.
Wow. How many minutes? No, anyways. Primarily, the easiest way for me to kind of describe to everybody what I do is I produce, host, and teach experts and lifestyle entrepreneurs how to increase their value by leveraging live video strategies. So basically, if you want your folks, your ideal clients out there to get to know you faster, like you faster, and trust you better, and I basically teach you how to do that by leveraging live videos. It's the new, I think it's the new thing now, right? Mm-hmm. Because when I got started, I was like, if I did a pod hands moving, because they can't see my hands moving, right? So I needed to figure out what would be the best platform for me so that my audience, in a very...
Am I breaking up or is she breaking up?
Video.
She's breaking up? Okay.
Yeah.
But she's back.
Good.
Back. Did you all not hear that?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up.
We didn't hear the last part.
And I'm still trying to get my screen fixed. I don't know what's happening here.
It's okay.
I know. You know what? So last week we had this perfect week with everything in
those tech gremlins.
I
what
know.
Are they doing?
There. Okay, good. There. Now I got the whole thing in there. I'll just fix it a little bit. So, Zef, tell us about entrepreneurs that soar specifically.
So when I got, can you?
Yeah, let's just say we can. Keep talking.
Am I choppy on your end?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
A little bit. Darn it. Anyways, Entrepreneurs that Soar started as a networking organization, and now it's revolved into a virtual summit production company. What that really means is, I put together virtual summits for experts and lifestyle entrepreneurs, because I realized that is the thing that I've been doing for the past few years since I got started, and that's what it has evolved into today.
So how can someone like Alesia or Mike utilize video and a virtual summit to enhance their business? What they're doing they're both doing podcasting and all different other kinds of media, but how could a virtual summit help with them? or with Cindy and I, for that matter?
So here's an example. The easiest answer to that question is I tell my potential clients or my audience is like, instead of you go out there chasing your potential ideal clients, how would you like them to come to you, right? Because one of the biggest challenges, and I've learned this for the longest time, is I was an avid networker, and I still am today, but it takes so much time to go out and network with people. Just to explain to them what I do, they look at me like I come from planet Mars, right? Like I've got 2 horns on my head. So it takes a little bit of time and effort. The biggest way everyone could leverage a virtual summit is to really showcase your expertise at an expert sort of summit, right? Because instead of you hunting or tracing your ideal clients, let them come to you. Be on the stage of the world and let them get acclimated to you. Let them find out a little bit more about you. Create more engagement. And I think that's the biggest thing everybody can benefit from virtual summits. The best thing is you only have to show up, waist up. You don't have to brush your teeth. You don't have to shower. Who cares? You're bringing value regardless. You're showing up in front of the camera. Even if it's 5 minutes before showtime, you can provide value. And that's the beauty of anything virtual that we do online these days. And I think Virtual Summit just amps that up because you can really reach a global client should you want to do that. So there you go.
There you go. So there you go. So I don't know if Michael or Cindy have any questions before we go around again and talk about what we're all doing next and what we want everybody to hear about. So Michael or Cindy, do you have any questions?
No. I love the group here that you've gathered tonight. Once again, you've hit you've got them all together, and I see the connection from one to the next, and the fact that they're all, out there helping other people, to me it's just so heartwarming that, everyone's in it for the same thing. I see and hear a little bit about me in each one of them and what they're doing. And it's just like, I was looking at the podcasting. I had been introduced to podcasting before I was introduced to Blab, and it was not for me because, like Zef, I like to use my hand. And it was like, I want to see people. I want to be able to see their facial expressions. I want that warmth. And I find for me, podcasting, Periscope, Anchor, whatever, is just the one-sided, and I need this. I love you all. This is so awesome tonight.
We love you too, Cindy.
Thanks. So no questions, just a lot of words.
Oh, thank you. What about you, Michael? Did you have any questions or comments? Is he staying radio silent?
Oh.
Nope,
Michael,
I got him.
Yeah, you, Michael, you.
Hi, yeah, I'm just enjoying this. Zef Zan is awesome everywhere. You're nonstop everywhere. So that's not a surprise. Mike Thorpe, I'm getting to know him, and this is fantastic. And Reyes is awesome, and so it's just great. I'm just enjoying it.
Well, it's so nice to hear from Michael C. Voice, the voice of last night's show. Thank you so much for popping in.
You and Cindy did a wonderful job as always. It's perfect. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have to tell everybody who's watching, it is purely by chance that my guests end up on the same night, because I ask a lot of people to come on. I give them all the dates, and they just tell me they don't know each other. And I love it when it comes together like this. And I just think that it just goes to show that we all have things in common. All people, have things. We're just all trying to make life work, but it is very special. And I don't think, it's that much, I don't know. I think there's a message in the fact that these three have that common thread. And I love that is a factor here, and that they are helping other people. It's so cool.
As soon as I found out that we were all going to be on the show together, it was kind of like, you see how we all connected to the dots, like right here, right now? The same thing happened on social media. It was like, okay, follow. Yeah. We're all connected now, like on every platform. And it's cool. Even though we're all in different industries, the passion is helping people, right? And that's what's driving us. Yeah. And I'm sure that's why we're on the Listen show, because at the end of the day, if we don't listen to what the people need, we can't provide that true value. And all of us we're all doing that. So it all came together perfect now.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for bringing up the theme of the week. Listen, the word for the week. And, we've talked about it all week long. I have a podcast I bring on Anchor, and, goes to Apple podcasts. And I start on Monday, and I introduce the word of the week. And this week it's listen, and it carries all the way through to Sunday. It starts on Sunday, doesn't it, Cindy?
Starts on
Sunday and carries through to tonight. So starting with Sunday, we painted a project on Cindy's Paint with Heart. And then I introduced it on Monday, to be perfectly honest. And this is she's holding it up. Say something.
This was a project that was inspired by the word listen.
Yes, so it's a musical instrument, which is really lovely because we love to listen to music, but we also love to listen to our heart, and it brought back memories. Cindy's dad played that instrument. And then, so all week long I've been talking about this on various places, so I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And then, I just have to say, though, it's just... I get so much out of this and connecting, and I always tell people that I meet online that once we're connected, you have a friend for life, and I think that hopefully you know that, it's not just media, it's social media, because this is like my world, you're part of my community, so that's, if that's what listening is, then yay, we're doing it. That's totally cool. But did you have any thoughts you wanted to share, Mike, about listening?
Yeah, no, I think the point you just made is incredible. When you start finding circles of like-minded people, whether it's, people in the same industry as you or different industries, it's kind of interesting when you start to connect and you start to see how you can help each other. There's a lot of people that I've connected with since last September when I started my business who aren't in the restaurant industry, but we have a lot in common when we start talking to each other and we start kind of hearing each other's stories, and they can give me advice on things and I can give them advice on things. Just listening to what they have going on, kind of dissect whatever that specific thing that they're doing in their lives. And just a few months ago, before I had the ability to do this, I never would have even thought that I would have been able to help these people solve some of the problems that they have. It's interesting. And
I have twofold question. Like, how did you get started? Like, what just made you decide to do this? And then, did something click, or was there a major shift, or did you have one person you helped and then it grew? I'm curious about that. And then how do you choose the people that you're interviewing? Like, the Ashley Cacciatorian, and, how do you ask people, what do you see in them that you want to interview them?
That's a really great question. So why I wanted to start in the first place, I think just because it was something I've never done before. I was branching out of being in, like I said before, the comfortable corporate environment where I didn't really have to worry about those types of things. I only had to worry about the four walls of the restaurant that I was running. And now it was sort of, okay, now I'm going out and putting myself out there. I'm starting this business. I can do whatever I want. So let me just try things. I want to try whatever I can. And podcasts just seem natural. I hate video editing. So anything that revolves around video, I prefer it to be live because I can't stand editing. And most of my podcasts are that way too. Very, they're not heavily edited or anything like that, just because I don't think I have the patience for it.
Yeah.
But so with that being said, podcast was sort of a natural way to jump into it, and I didn't really know how. And then Ashley Cacciatorian and I just randomly met through Twitter. Kind of started having conversations about what she's doing, what I'm up to, and then it kind of revolved around Gary V, as you said, which is kind of funny because we both enjoy him, but we're also now not really paying much attention to what he's doing because we're doing our own things. And the irony of that is, she had made a parody video of Gary Vee, and then a couple days later, which he tweeted out, and a couple days later, I wrote an article on Medium, which was my first article ever on Medium, my first blog ever, actually, about why I'm turning off Gary Vee. Which was turning this off because I'm obsessed with it and I need to start working on my own stuff.
Right.
And he tweeted that article out right around the same time. So that brought the two of us together. And then it sort of was natural to just say, hey, why don't you be the first guest on my podcast?
I knew I should have written that article about why I didn't want to get a selfie with Gary Vee when I had the chance. I actually took a Snapchat with Gary Vee in the background with a whole bunch of people waiting. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could get in that line, but nah. So, I totally can relate to what you're talking about. But you guys, you really are both doing things. And I think you're setting an example of exactly what he's talking about. He doesn't want you to be just listening. And like, who is he to say, anything? But that is what he's building his business on. So he's setting a good example, and you're doing that. And that's wonderful.
Yes.
I think that's wonderful. That's really cool. So, I want to just take a quick moment before we go back to Zef and thank our sponsor. Because we have a sponsor tonight. It's my, should I go ahead and say who it is? It's Flying Crown Aerial Imaging, which is my husband's new company. And I have a video to share with you that he produced. So talk about editing. This is somebody who loves to edit, okay? So I'm going to play this clip now. Is that cool? So that's just a piece of this video that he made for with his drone and his I don't know what special cameras that he uses to show real estate footage, and that's his new business. So I want to thank our sponsor for tonight, Flying Crown Aerial Imaging. And thanks. So I want to try to bring on a sponsor every week. So if anybody's interested in being a sponsor for last night's show with Miz Meliz, we'll just, highlight your business and put a credit at the end. And we can also put, information about your business on my blog at MizMeliz.com. So that's how we do it. And if you have any questions about Lito, Reyes, or Flying Crown Aerial Imaging, let me know. And I want everybody here to tell us how we can reach you and your business and what you're doing. So starting with, let's go with Zef of Entrepreneurs That Soar. How do we contact you if we want to go into some virtual summit stuff?
Best way to get to me right now is my name.live. So it's zefzan.live. And there is a contact page right there. That's where everybody goes to get in touch with me. So it's zefzan.com.
Zefzan.com or zefzan.live?
Oh, sorry. Zefzan.
That's what you freezes.
I know what she freezes. Zefzan.live.
Zefzan.com is where you go to contact me. There's a contact page there.
Okay.
And then to watch all my live, you just go to zefzan.live.
Okay, great. I'm going to make sure that you have that in the link or in the comments, and then also on the replay we'll put that, in the bottom thirds. And so how about you, Alesia? How do we get in touch with you, and where can we reach you if we want to hire you?
The number one place to find me is on Twitter. That's my favorite platform. So if you want to reach me directly at any time, writing me on Twitter is almost like sending me a text message. So follow me on Twitter at The Smooth Factor. It's a weird name, but it's my weird name, and nobody else has it, so you won't forget me. Yes, on Twitter at The Smooth Factor. My website is thesmoothfactor.com. If you want to send me an email there, you can do that. It's also where I blog. And my second favorite platform is LinkedIn. So, Alesia Hendley. If you want to follow me there in a professional aspect. Don't get me wrong, I'm professional on Twitter, but, LinkedIn and Twitter are two different spaces,
Right.
But no matter what, I'm the same person across all my platforms. Reach out anytime.
That's awesome. That's great. I love Twitter too. I'm Miz Meliz at Twitter, in case anybody doesn't know that already. There's a lot of Miz Melizes out there, so I have to be something different everywhere, which is really crazy. But that's why I use hashtag Insta Miz Meliz. I just had to start my own hashtag, so that way it's authentic. So Mike, how do we get in touch with you?
I'm also a massive fan of Twitter, and you can find me at mthorpe XXI. It stands for 21 in Roman numerals, but my business is Capstone Hospitality, and my website is capstonehospitality.net. So you can see everything that I have going on there. I do have a blog on there as well.
That's so cool. All right. That's terrific. So let's see. Zef, tell us what you were thinking this week when we started talking about Listen.
So I think in the show I mentioned about we as entrepreneurs sometimes forget or don't take enough time to listen. Because either we're too busy trying to learn all the stuff that we need to know, right? And then we take and that that maybe the universe is telling us, or when I say this, that means pay attention to what comes to you repeatedly. What that means is sometimes an idea will come to us and then it just like there. But then I realize it comes back to you the second time, third time, and repeatedly. That's when you really
I think that what she's saying is that it comes to you again and again. So, she wants, listening to that inner voice or your heart. And then also, Zef was telling me that she has like a special certain hours in her day that she has like a heightened awareness, and she listens to, those voices that really strongly, and that message comes to her, and that's the one that is the most truest form of herself. So, we talked about, and you have to find that time. What's the time for you? So, I had the pleasure of interviewing Zef on Inspiring Adventures, and you can see that also on Bubbler Media and on YouTube. And that interview was, I have to thank you so much, Zef, for being with me on that show and on this show this week. I really loved getting to know you. Thank you for being here. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I can't believe the time has gone by so fast. I hope you had a chance to tell us what you wanted to tell us about yourself, but at least everybody's had a chance to get to know you, and I hope that everyone takes a moment to connect with you and leave the comment so that we can answer your questions and get in touch and get back to you, because that's what it's all about here on Last Night's Show with Miz Meliz. Yay! So, okay. So next week I have Kristen Cruz from local radio. She's really famous. She's got a mom's show right now in Santa Clarita. She's awesome. I met her at Connect Her. And then I've got a couple of other people who aren't quite sure yet. So we'll see who else ends up being on next week. You know who you are. Come on, you guys. And I want to thank Cindy for being my bestest co-host and best friend, and for also being our Paint with Heart sponsor. Do you want to tell us what's up for tomorrow on Paint with Heart?
Paint with Heart. Okay. So it's a painting, it's an art program. It's a free art lesson on Sundays. Melissa and I host it. And sometimes she paints with us, and sometimes she just is the producer of Paint with Heart. But we're doing this box tomorrow. Oh, let's see if I get it up right. There we go. Yeah. So because tomorrow we begin a new word of the week, which is
Breathe.
And so whenever you get uptight, right, and then someone says breathe, go for that glass of wine. It'll help every time.
I don't know how she ties this together. I'm thinking maybe you have to open the wine and let it breathe.
Well, that's why it's a red wine. That's why it's a red wine, because red wine needs to breathe. White wine doesn't.
So she takes this plain box and turns it into something like that. And there's coasters inside, right?
Yep, we've got coasters here.
And each one is
my splash of wine. And then I'm also a napkin hoarder, which means
doesn't sound very good.
Which means I have tubs and tubs and tubs of napkins.
Decorative
Every time I
napkins.
go somewhere and I find napkins, I just buy more napkins. Or if I go to a restaurant, I did that on the cruise. I was at a restaurant and I was like, can you get me one of those unused?
Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed now.
And you should have seen.
I'm not sure if Cindy will be here next week.
So that's a napkin. That's a napkin of corks that I decoupage to the coaster.
Hold that up again. It's okay. Hold it up again.
How much for the box?
Painted?
Yes, how much for that painted box with the coasters?
Do you know Jen Nelson? She has a wine live stream. I'm trying to get her to take it to give away on her show. I'll do a collaboration. So you got to go watch her show to get this.
It's so funny because I show my artwork. I used to show my artwork on Blab, and people are like, how much is that? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't really sell my artwork.
Oh. I know. Well, what do I have to do to get that box and the coasters?
Come to a class. Come to a class on Paint with Heart.
Well, no, I'll take the visit. I have a guest room she can stay in. But yeah,
okay.
No.
I have to come in the summer though. It's already cold in Houston. I can't get much colder. I can't take it.
We'll connect, Alesia. We'll connect.
All right.
Sure. And if anybody's watching and you do want to buy something, Cindy does have a website, cindyharrisonart.com, and she does have a shop, and you can order things. So with that said,
not yet.
Not yet.
Save it just for you. We can talk on Monday. I need it for tomorrow.
All right.
She ends up making multiple ones because she makes one for the example, and she makes one in the class, and then she'll make one
two.
for anybody. Yeah.
So you can have the second one, Alesia. We'll talk on Monday.
Say goodnight,
I'm going to join
Cindy.
Twitter. I can't wait. I'm going to join Twitter,
Yes.
and I'm
Join
going to
Twitter.
I'm going to follow those two lovely people, and
She's
I already
on
follow
Twitter.
Zef, so.
Is she on Twitter?
I'm not really.
It's me.
It's you.
I'm
not
Cindy
really.
Harrison on Twitter.
I just finally got comfortable with Instagram. One at a time.
Just tell
One at a time.
Cindy, say goodnight.
Good night, everyone, and thank you. It was wonderful meeting everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Lito and I are in front of the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. It's going to be a fun night. We're both in here. Bye.